Education. Let me get settled in here and let's continue on my journey. Now, I moved back to Harlem, back there with my homies. I'm still in junior high school. I'm still going to school in the all-white neighborhood because it's my last year. And like I said, I wanted to finish up there so I can go on. Planning on high school. Where are we going to go? Now, I didn't get my first black teacher until I was in the 8th grade in this junior high school. Prior to that, I never had a black teacher, especially someone to look up to on an educational stand or to look past what I've been through. So, here's Miss Brown, wonderful woman. Went on later on in life to become superintendent of schools. But she's my teacher and she's pushing me all the time. McFarland, you could do better than what you're doing. Said, your grades are better than what you think they are, you just don't work at it. Well, to me, B+ is pretty good because all my friends were just barely making it. So to me to get a B+, I'm okay. But she said, you're better than that, you're smarter than that. She pushed me and she pushed me and she pushed me. She said, I want you to look at becoming a medical professional. I want you to go to, because you're getting ready to go to high school, I want you to go to the Bronx High School of Science, which is a high school that prepared you for the medical field. Well, I didn't really want to go there. I wanted to go to the Performing Arts High School because I was a good artist and I love to draw. That's where I thought I wanted to be. So, I took the test for the Performing Arts High School. That's the school where the movie Fame was eventually surrounded and made upon, was that high school. I go down there and I take the test and I look around. There's a raggedy school here. All my life I've been in old buildings, built at the turn of the century. But I passed the test and I could have went there. She sets up for me to take the Bronx High School of Science test. I missed the date that she set up for me. My best friend, who was also an artist, and we were always back and forth in art competitions, he liked to draw clothing. I like to draw houses and cars and things of that nature. So he challenged me to draw in clothing. I challenged him to draw a car. He said, I'm going to the High School of Fashion Industry. So I asked him, what's that about? He said, it's a high school where they teach you how to sew and the art and the draw. And it's a school that was specially built in New York back in the day to feed the garment industry with qualified students that could go right into the garment industry, be prepared. Oh, it was the only school of its kind in the world, still exists. It's hard to get into now. It's harder to get into now than it was back in my day because everybody's trying to get into it because it's what? It's a public high school. So what that means is it's a free high school to learn the craft of design and whatnot. So I decided, okay, I'll go down there and I'll take the test with you. Now mind you, we're still finishing up our junior high school years, so we haven't really made a decision on where we're going to go yet. Now, like I said, I've been in old schools all my life, all broke down, beat up schools over here, classrooms opening up to where's the auditorium. And we walk in this school, I'm breathless. Here's a brand spanking new school. Now this is 1959, the school was just built in 1958. So the newness, the smell of a new building was still upon it. I'm saying, wow. I go in there, there's showcases with clothing in it, there's terrazzo floor. I didn't even know what a terrazzo floor was. That's the flooring that you see mainly in office buildings. Shiny, look like glass down there. And I'm saying, wow, I'm used to these old raggedy wooden floors that the schools in New York had. So me and my friend would go to take the test. So the first thing we do is we have to go in the auditorium to assemble you know, and they give you a little rundown on the school and this, that, and the other. But I'm looking around and all the young ladies are dressed, ooh, Lord have mercy, they are dressed in fine clothes that they made. And the brothers are bebopping down there in their tailor-made pants and their tailored shirts they had made on too. Now all I ever wanted to do was dress like the guys in my neighborhood. All the men in my neighborhood in Harlem in those days dressed with the finest of clothes, the hats, the top coats in the winter, you name it. All the men were sharp. I didn't care what level income that they were at, they were all sharp. And that's all I wanted to do is make these clothes. I'm saying to myself, wow. So we passed the tests. And then we take the test and we assemble back in the auditorium. And I'm looking in this auditorium, never been in an auditorium like this in my life. First of all, we didn't have too many auditoriums in the schools I went in. It was always the classroom. On the walls of the auditorium, there's a mural painting on this side and on that side. And it depicts the garment industry from where it started to its present day. Now this was still the 50s, but it didn't have to really go any further because it hadn't changed. But it had a depiction of the garment industry in the early days, and it went up this way and it went down that way of what it looked like. And I'm saying, oh my goodness. Then they had a runway protruding from the stage because this was towards the end of the year and they always have the student senior fashion show then. So the girls were practicing walking on the runway and I'm amazed. This is like Paris. And I'm looking in, I'm saying to myself, oh my God, I got to go here. Plus all the pretty girls went there too. So I'm really going to go here. So we passed the test and now I'm preparing to go to the high school fashion industry. I'm looking around and I'm saying to myself, wow, this is all I could think about was going to this school. So now we graduate, it's summertime, I'm hanging out on the block with the boys. A lot of my friends had already started high school a year before me, so it was my turn and a couple others that were my age to go to high school. Well, all of them went to George Washington High School, which was considered what we call the neighborhood high school. If you lived in Harlem and in those, that's the school that you went to if you lived on this side of a certain street. If you lived on the other side, you went to Benjamin Franklin. So they're in high school, but it's summertime and we're hanging out on the block and they're saying, well, where you gonna go to high school, Mac? That's what they called me back in the day, Mac. They said, where you going to high school, Mac? I said, I'm going to high school in fashion industry. Why you going there, man? Why don't you come up to G-Dub with us? George Washington High School is where they went. I said, man, I don't go to George Washington High School. I said, you see all the brothers around here wearing these fine clothes? I said, this is where I'm going. I said, you wait to see. Learn how to make them clothes. Oh, man, you ain't going to know how to make no clothes. Man, making clothes is for sissies. That's what they used to always say back in those days. I said, I'm going to fool you guys. I'm going to learn this because I want to make some clothes for me. Now, I had no idea that I would end up in this industry over here. I had no idea of that. But that's where I wanted to go. That's what I wanted to do. So I said to myself, so after going through that summer, you know, and the anticipation of going to school, it was, all I could do was think about September rolling around and me going there. So the Harlem scene now was going to broaden because now I'm going to have to go to school downtown. Now, I've been downtown before, but I didn't know what downtown life was like, but that's where the school was. And it was in the heart of the garment district. I haven't been to the garment district. I still don't know what it's about, but I'm going to find out. So that summer, me and the guys, we did the normal guy things, but now we started to go to parties. And this was the beginning of the Harlem party scene. Oh, what I'm about to tell you guys about that, living in Harlem, it was a blast. But I'm so excited. Now, I'm getting ready to go to high school. I'm going to be on now the level with the rest of my boys who are already in high school. Now, I'm a young man now. I'm a teenager, you know, because I just flipped that age to where I'm in the teens now. So you're not a junior high school guy anymore. Now you're a high school student. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, the brother from Harlem with the high school education. Y'all stay tuned to me, because this is going to get better and better, or as we used to say, gooder and gooder. Because this now was the formulation of James Lee McFarland into what eventually became Gentleman Jim, Master Tailor. I sure hope you guys are enjoying what I'm telling you about growing up in New York and Harlem. And now you're going to get into why I use the phrase, the high school education. Because now I'm going to tell you guys how that high school education shaped my life, made me the man that I am, made me a person that people look up to and respect, taught me the talent with these two guys right here that God gave me. Now he says, pass it on, son. I didn't just give it to you to keep, but that high school education is going to take you to a lot of far places. I thank you once again, James Lee McFarland, the brother from Harlem, with the high school education. Stay tuned.